Life rolls on in our sweet little home, and once again I am reminded of the beauty, simplicity, complexity, and wisdom of nature. As the sun rises on another day, the dogs keep watch from the rock near the house. The birds sing the day in, while a bunch of deer make the most of the long grass in the mild morning before the heat of the day arrives. Of course, the kangaroos are about too, though as I learnt last summer, they are not as plentiful as in the cooler months. Sometimes you really have to look for them. Their coat colouring blends into the native vegetation so well. At other times, there's no hiding at all. We've been overseas since the last episode with a work trip to America. It was a positive experience in terms of the lovely people I connected with and for the memories created with my beautiful kid. But I cannot tell you what a relief it was to come home to the quietness and everything that home is for me. We've also had the team from Living Big in a Tiny House here filming. The episode will be out on their YouTube channel early in the new year. Keep an eye out for it. They're great translators of people's stories through the homes we live in, my own included. This has been one of the hottest spring seasons in a very long time. The water level in Lake Dreamaroo has dropped significantly, but there's still plenty to feed the wildlife and for swimming, which has been a welcome reprieve for us. There's much to share in this episode, so much wildlife, and lots of garden growth. The bird bath has been active too. That's all coming, but first a brief chat to say hello. Life's been really full since the last episode, and I don't say busy because I can't live with frantic and busy, and so I'm kind enough to myself these days to just not do it, not create a life that includes that sort of pace. But it has also been very full with the trip away, then supporting my daughter's dream with a really big event, and then the Living Big in a Tiny House crew being here. And so it's just beautiful now, to just be grounded again, back home. And even when I say it's been too full in a way that I relate to, because even in choosing a slow life, in choosing slow living, sometimes as a single mum and sometimes as a professional career woman, life can fill up, and also I have my social needs, and it has been too full lately. Not too busy, not frantic, manic, but absolutely too full. So it just feels great to settle. But during that time, what I realised, it was a really interesting revelation to myself, was that when I was away in America on the work trip, I was missing home. Absolutely. I was in Los Angeles and Boston, and Boston was a lot more gentle on my nervous system than LA. It's pretty frantic. Great people. I met some great people, but it's not my town. And Boston was a lot more gentle, and I really enjoyed it. But I was missing here, and I bought this place, this land, bare block initially, 3.5 years ago, and I bought it for the sky. But I often say to people that what will keep me here is the rocks and the wildlife. The wildlife are just magnificent, and I love the randomness of it, that you just don't know what you're going to see each day. And I just love that. And the other thing I say that will keep me here are the rocks. I find that the rocks, they offer a very steady presence that, I don't know, there's an essence that I tune into, and I just feel held by them. Whether I'm sitting on them or they're just around, there's just something about their ancient energy that holds me safe, and I just love the rocks. So I thought it would be the wildlife and the rocks that I miss the most, and the sky, which I adore. But it wasn't. It was actually two other things, and one I'm not that surprised about, the second one, but the first one did surprise me, and that's the wind. I really missed the wind. Or even just the breeze. There are moments here where there's no breeze or wind, but most of the time, because it's such high country, there is at least a breeze, and often, like the last couple of days, have been really stormy and has been howling wind. But what I've realised is that a lot of the time when I'm out here on my own, there's just myself and the dogs, and my daughter's at school. Once the birds have settled down for the day, like in the heat of the day, I'll hear the insects, but it's mostly the wind that is the soundtrack of my life out here, or the wind that keeps me company. And when I came home and I heard the wind, I just felt like, it's like an old friend. And I've always liked the wind. I like that it represents change. But I think now for me is when I tune into the wind, it clears my mind. And so it's turned into a very beautiful and healing relationship. And I missed the wind, and I was so glad to be back for that. But I also missed the pollinators, the macro world of insects that is so alive at this time of year here. And being away and knowing that flowers were blooming and that there was this macro world unfolding without me being able to witness how many different little insects and critters were visiting, that was interesting to observe, me missing it, my longing for it. So it's good to be back amongst it all. So I'm just going to head on down to Lake Dreamaroo now. We've made some small changes down there, so I'll share those with you. And it's good to be back. Life's not so full now, and I can ease into summer at a slower pace. We've got the summer holidays coming up, and I've got some work to do, but not too much. So it's great to be here, and I'm so grateful and blessed for the time we share here. So let's head on down to Lake Dreamaroo, and I'll show you what's happened down there. So it may not look any different to how it used to, but if you look closely, there is now a tree on the island and about 5 or 6 different, 2 different types of native grasses, but 2 of one and 4 of another. So that once they grow and spread on the island, there'll be more shelter for the ducks. And the tree, the casuarina, will grow up and offer shade and shelter for them as well. So Eleanor did that with one of her mates. They came down here in their togs and swimmers and climbed up there with all the equipment and did it. And so lately Eleanor's been climbing up to water it, but it's got a bit hard for her getting down and it's not deep enough on the other side. So we're just counting on the rain for a little while until the water level goes back up or we find another solution to for her to get up and down safely. Anyway, it's pretty exciting. It's very exciting, I think. Having a tree and grasses growing on the island, because in a few years that's going to offer shelter to the ducks that this whole construction was created for or extended for. It was already here. The wildlife use it a lot. We can see from the house, we often see animals here coming and going, so that's lovely, even though it's not a creek or a river, but we are at a mountaintop and that's the best we can do. If it's not a mountaintop with melting snow, then which it's not, so this is the best we can do.
The ducks are no longer babies, but are still calling Lake Dreamaroo and its surrounds home. Some afternoons the family flies past the house back to the water and island for the night. Other days they potter nearby at sunset, feeding in the long grass. A wild pig was spotted in the distance on the neighbour's land, reminding me there is plenty of hidden life in the bush. We had to make a stop in the car to move a turtle to safety. There have been a few foxes spotted. I hate to think what they've been up to. A friend also saw the panther that I spoke of in an earlier episode. No footage to show you though, so it remains elusive. Two snails enjoyed some slow mating on the mat that lives between the ramps connecting our 2 buildings. Like all things snails do, it was not a rushed process. A flock of straw-necked ibis have also arrived. I've not seen them here before, not even in this same season last year. I do wonder if it's Lake Dreamaroo and its constant water source that has brought them. Either way, I love them being about. A family of starlings nest in the carport for their breeding period each year. This is their 3rd year here. They moved in before we did. I'm enjoying the rhythm of their annual visit, but I do wonder where they go for the rest of the year. One of the Egnell plants has dared to flower, the first since the cockatoos ravaged the last one. This time I have a new strategy. I saw online that if you wrap a bottle in a white bag, it looks like a dead cockatoo to the others of their flock flying above, so they leave your garden alone. That's the theory anyway, and so far so good. I now have 3 bottles lying about, the one beside the Egnell, one near the cherry tree, and one by the lavender and zinnias. We had success with our first ever crop of potatoes. I don't eat them much, but my daughter loves them, so apparently she is making us a potato bake this week. That's asparagus growing in the bed beside this potato one. Our raspberry plant is also coming along. Yum! I'll have that, thank you. Oh. Look at my hands. Haven't been in the garden. Yep. Yum! The bird bath scene is well and truly alive again after the winter sabbatical. Another generation of young magpies share the water with their mama, as well as lots of other birds. I love the changing light at different times of day too. I forgot to turn the camera off when I was away for a night, so here's my darling mum at the bird bath and my daughter watering the tree. My 2 favourite people on the planet, caught in an everyday moment that I love. Spring gave way to summer very early, so there has been much to do in the garden. The seedlings from the last episode didn't do so well. Some of the zinnias are growing in the garden now, but the others either came up and died quickly or didn't surface. So I finally decided to just plant the mix anywhere and everywhere, like last year's seeds. I'll let myself be surprised by what comes up and what I'll be enjoying over these coming summer months. I'll hopefully have a lot more to show you next episode, but in the meantime I bought some seedlings to get the annuals off to a start, and the perennials previously planted are doing well. It's a very happy blend so far, and it's only going to get better. An echidna has been out and about quite a bit. It's hard to get its face with its deep concentration on eating, and I don't want to scare it. It's fascinating watching them though, and seeing how strong their snout is to lift rocks. Talk about determination. It was also fabulous to realise there were deer watching me film the echidna's return to the bush. Life is full of ever-changing and awe-inspiring moments out here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.